Lesson 40, area of a circle. First, let's go through some vocabulary. We've already gone through circumference of a circle, which was pi times diameter. Here we're looking at the area. How much space does a circle take up? So the area of a circle is pi times our radius squared. Then we have a sector. The sector is just a portion of the interior of a circle enclosed by two radii. So right here we have a sector. These are your two radiuses, and then you have an arc. This whole part would be a sector. That's part of a circle. And so when we're looking at a sector, that is a fractional part of the whole circle. And then we have an arc. It's part of the edge of a circle. So the arc is just part of the perimeter of a circle. And then we have the central angle. That's just the angle formed by the radius. So this would be right here, would be the central angle. Let's take a look at an example. It says express the answers to A and B in terms of pi, which just means we need to have pi in our answer. So what is the circumference of the circle? And we know that circumference equals pi times diameter. The radius is 6. I double the radius to get my diameter. So the circumference would be 12 pi. What is the area of the circle? Area of a circle is pi times radius squared. My radius is 6, so I would need to square it. Area equals 36 pi square inches. This would be inches right here. Find the area of this circle. And it says to use pi as 3.14. So area equals pi times radius squared. The radius is 5, so 5 squared times 3.14. So we grab our calculator. The 3.14 times 25. We would get an area of 78.5 square centimeters. And this one, it says express the terms in pi, just means have pi in our answer. So area equals pi times radius squared. Our radius is 15. We need to multiply that by pi. So area equals 15 squared is 225. Need to have pi in my answer. So it would be 225 pi square meters. Next problem, find the area of the semicircle in terms of pi. So a semicircle is just half of a circle. So area would be half the area of a circle, which would be pi r squared. And it says in terms of pi, so I'm going to keep pi in my answer. So area equals, I have half times pi. The radius, half of 16 is 8. I need to square that. So 8 squared is 64. Half of 64 is 32. So area would equal 32 pi square centimeters. Next one, 140 feet diameter helicopter landing pad covers an area of about how many square feet? What value did you use for pi? So the diameter is 140. The radius is half of that. So half of 140 would be 70. So area equals pi times radius squared. Our radius would be 70. And then for pi, since I know that 70 is divisible by 7, I'm going to use 22/7 as for pi. So now I take 70 squared, which is 4,900. So now I have 22/7 times 4,900. I can divide a 7 in both places. And I have 700 times 22. I would get an area of 15,400, and this would be square feet. Next, the circular table in the library has a diameter of 6 feet. If 4 students sit around the table, then each student has about how many square feet of work area? So first off, we need to know what is the area of the circle, or circular table. So I would have area equals, I would do pi times the radius. Since the diameter is 6, half of 6 would be 3, so it would be 3 squared. So I have area equals 9 times 3.14, which gives us 28.26. And since there are 4 students around the table, I would divide that by 4. And we would say, and since it says about how many, we have to estimate that. So 28 divided by 4 would give me roughly 7 feet of work area. Next one here, a lawn sprinkler waters a circular portion of a yard. The radius of the circular portion is 7 feet. Calculate the area of the yard watered by the sprinkler to the nearest square foot. So we got 7 squared times, I'm going to use 22 sevenths because that's divisible by 7. So now I have 22 sevenths times 49. I can divide by 7 here, divide by 7 here. So it's 22 times 7. This would give us an area of about 154 square feet. And the next one, what is the scale factor from the circle in A to the circle in B? So scale factor, which would be we'll be looking at the area of A to area B. Well, if you look at the radius in the first one is 5. The radius of the second one is 15. So it is, we divide each one by 5, it is 1 to 3, or the scale factor would be 3 times bigger. So the area of the circle in B is how many times the area of the circle in A? Well, remember when we're using area, we are squaring the units. So if we're squaring the units, we're going to be squaring the scale factor. So if the scale factor is 3, we would square it. That would give us 9 times. So the area of B would be 9 times larger than the area of circle A. What effect does doubling the diameter of a circle have on the area of the circle? Well, if we double, that means twice the amount of diameter, and since we're doing area, we would have to square units. So I would square the ratio, which would square the scale factor, which is 2. So it would be 4 times the area of the original circle. So just remember, if you're doubling something and you're finding the area, it's going to be 4 times the area. And so depending on what the scale factor is, you would have to just square that. Square the scale factor to find out what impact it has on the area. And a couple more problems. Find the area of the sector in terms of pi. And remember, the sector is just a fractional part of the whole circle. And since we were given a degree, that degree is 45. So the interior angle is 45 degrees out of 360 because a circle has 360. This would be If I did 360 divided by 45 would give me 8. So if I divide this by 45/45, this is 1/8 of the circle. So the area of the sector in terms of pi is 1/8 of the whole area of the circle. And so first we need to find the area of a circle, which would be pi times radius squared. So we would have 16 pi, and we need to multiply this by 1/8 because it's 1/8 of that. And I can simplify here, divide 8 here, divide 8 here. So we would say the area in terms of pi would be 2 pi. So this would be the area of the sector. And we would just say this would be square centimeters. Then find the area of the sector in terms of pi. So the pi sector here would just be a semicircle. So let's find the area of the semicircle. So the area is pi times radius squared, and we have the radius of 36 inches. So we need to square the 36 times pi gives us the area. But since we are not doing a whole circle, we're doing half a circle, we're going to have to divide that by 2. So 36 squared gives us 1,296. Divide that by 2 gives us 648 pi. This would be square inches. That would be the area of this semicircle. And one last slide, the work area here. We have our picture of our circle. It says in the figure, segment AC is the diameter. So this is the diameter here. Diameter of circle O. So the whole thing is labeled as O and measures 12 centimeters. So this whole thing is 12 centimeters. The central angle of BOC. So BOC, this is 60 degrees. Find the area in terms of pi in the sectors named below. So sectors BOC, we need to find the area of that. So we have 60 over 360, which is 1/6 of the circle. So the area of the circle, everything's going to be in terms of pi. So if the radius, if that diameter is 12, the radius is 6, so we got 36 pi divided by 6, because it's 1/6, we would have 6 pi square centimeters. BOA, so BOA, this is 60, this has to be 120, so we got 120 over 360, which would be 1/3 of the circle. So we take 1/3, so it'd be 36 pi divided by 3, which will give us 12 pi square centimeters. And then we have AOC. So we're finding half of the circle, so 36 pi divided by 2, which would give us 18 pi square centimeters. So that is our lesson on finding area of a circle.